We are counting down to UFC 194 coming up on Saturday, December the 12th. It is a huge card, one of the biggest the UFC has ever put together. 2 championship fights on the card, including what I have described as the biggest fight of 2015. Chris Weidman will be defending his middleweight championship. He joins us now via satellite as he will be defending against Luke Rockhold. Chris, are you at your breaking point when it comes to media interviews today?
No, because I'm a very positive individual. And just positivity breeds positive results. So I'm not going to think that way.
Well, there you go. The power of positivity here is going to produce a great interview. I mean, as you look ahead to this pay-per-view, you've been in situations before where a lot of the media obligations fall onto your shoulders. Being in this position where there is a lot of star power in this particular show, is it a bit easier when it's spread out amongst a number of other fighters in this case?
Yeah, I think so. I think not having all the pressure on yourself makes it easy, especially guys, you got Connor and Jose, that card's been being promoted forever. So many people are so excited about it. So it definitely makes it easier for people to tune in, for sure.
Was there any issue with you knowing that Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo, it's this huge grudge match, it is probably going to go on last that night? Is there any part of you that had any issue with that, or do you just look at it, this is a gigantic card that people are going to be buying for a variety of reasons?
Exactly. It comes down to, if I'm getting paid, and I get paid based on pay-per-view.
Yes.
So the more people watching, the better for me. Whether I'm main event or co-main event, that doesn't matter to me.
It's going to be a very lucrative night, I would assume, for one Chris Weidman.
Yes, we want this card to stick together because right now it's looking very good.
You say that, and I have been looking so forward to this fight. I said before that, with Luke Rockhold, he was matched with Lyoto Machida. Yourself, you had to get through Vitor Belfort. I was just hoping both of you were going to get through those fights unscathed and we could put this fight together. Now that it is upon us, is there that concern of, man, is something going to fall apart here? Are there going to be any last-minute injuries?
Yeah, you always think that way. I always kind of have a little bit of those thoughts in your head, but no matter what, I'm showing up to that fight. I don't care what's wrong. My arms and legs could be barely hanging on. I'm showing up to that fight.
Has camp officially begun for you?
My camp officially begins, on this 2 days ago, it officially began. But Monday is when I really kick it in. So today's the day of my start, and I'm here with you guys.
So we are 7 weeks out from the fight with Luke. Is this a shorter camp than usual for you?
No, my last couple of fights, this is what I did. I learned that, just to prevent injuries, make it a little shorter. I always found that, if I did the 8 or 9, 10-week camp, I always was peaking a little early. And the last couple of weeks were just dreadful. Your body would break down. I feel like that's when a lot of injuries would happen. So, you learn and you gain experience over time. And I feel like 6 weeks, 7-week camp is perfect for me.
It's been a while for you since you were preparing for a 3-round fight, but especially those 5-round fights that you're training for. When you get to 10 weeks, is it kind of consistent? That's almost too long to be training for that big of a fight, training for 5 rounds.
Oh yeah, no. When you're sparring 5 rounds, 3 times a week, it'll break you down. So you got to be really smart. You have to listen to your body. You have to know when to push and pull yourself back. And I'm lucky I have really good coaches that are pretty good at knowing me and knowing when it's time to push or pull me back.
Is there anything in particular you're going to be changing around in terms of your diet? This is going to be your first fight since the IV ban came into effect on October the 1st. Does that change anything for Chris Weidman's preparation?
No, not really. Not really. I think you have enough time from weigh-ins till the fight where you could probably rehydrate the same way.
You had one of the most notorious weight cuts in recent memory for the Damian Maia fight. I think that we look at examples like that, and I think you saw it as very much trying to prevent those kinds of extreme weight cuts. Tell us from your perspective. That was something that had to be one of the most grueling weight cuts of your entire life, and something that I think people are very much concerned when you're flirting with that kind of danger when it comes to weight cutting.
Oh yeah, that was a drastic situation. I took a fight on 10 days notice. cut 32 pounds in a 10-day period, and I would never do something like that ever again. It made me respect the weight cutting process, and I always had the mentality that no matter what, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough thing, but you get through it. But after that, it made me realize that this is no joke. So I took things a lot more serious after that.
How would you advise a younger fighter that's maybe at your gym and they get that phone call 2 weeks out and they've got to cut an extraordinary amount of weight? What would your advice be now, a few years wiser, and what you put your body through over those 2 weeks?
Well, it's hard because that fight catapulted me into the top 5 of the division, and then I was able to get that Anderson Silva shot because of taking that risk. So it's one of those things that you don't want to see people go through. Sometimes the risk is worth the reward.
As we shift focus to Luke Rockhold, it's a fight that so many people are looking forward to. Two middleweights at the top of their game, fighting in the prime of their careers. Are you somewhat surprised it maybe took this long for you to be matched with Luke Rockhold? Because when he came over from Strikeforce, it was right as you were preparing for the first Anderson Silva fight. He had the setback against Vitor Belfort. Do you view this as the biggest fight of your career?
Every fight feels like it's the biggest fight of my career, but Luke is definitely probably the most well-rounded guy I'm going against. He's not the best stand-up guy I've faced. He's not the quickest or the strongest guy, but I think he's just well-rounded. He's not bad anywhere. So for me, that's another task that I'm excited to take and to figure out and just completely dominate him.
I think a lot of people are enjoying just the subtle jabs the two of you have thrown each other's way. It's completely respectful to one another, but Luke Rockhold just slides in, well, it's going to be competitive for one round. And I sense it with you as well. It seems like there is certainly very much a competitive rivalry between you two going into this fight on December the 12th.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of respect for Luke. I think he's got a good skill set, but if he's believing the things that he's saying right now, I can't wait to just see that look in his face when he finally realizes that he was wrong when we're in that cage together, because I'll see it, I'll feel it, and it's a breaking point that he's gonna feel and realize that I'm in a different class than him.
He's done some interviews recently. He was on Submission Radio this week talking about your speed, the comment about it being competitive for one round. I mean, how do you view that as a mixed martial artist? Is that him trying to get into your head? Do you give much credence to comments that come your way? And are you surprised at all he's going that direction?
No, I like it. It kind of just creates a smile on my face. I just want people to remember all the things he's saying, because on December 12th, I want people to remember these things. You look at the guys I fought: Anderson Silva, Lyoto Machida, Vitor Belfort. My last 4 fights, all those guys are way quicker than Luke Rockhold, and I did just fine. So.
Now that you have had this championship for over 2 years at this particular time, can you tell us, Anderson Silva gave a very famous comment after losing the title to you that it was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Now that you have been in that position for over 2 years, do you understand that comment a bit further of all that comes with being a champion? Media obligations such as this, always being in the public eye, everything you say is scrutinized. I mean, tell us a bit about that role of a champion that people don't typically always see.
Oh yeah, I've kind of always understood it, and then being in his shoes, for a while now, I understand it. But I enjoy it, the weight on my shoulders, because one day I'll miss it. So I'm not going to sabotage myself because I want to relax and not feel it anymore. This pressure and the things that you just spoke about is the stuff that keeps me going, keeps me motivated, because I know one day I'll miss all that stress and people scrutinizing me for every word I say and every punch I throw, how I'm not doing something right. So all that stuff that is pressure and people could get pissed off about is the stuff that I have to enjoy.
Do you largely, when you're at home, when you're with your family, do you largely just turn off the outside world? Are you a guy that's going online, that's reading what people are saying about you, or is that's just noise that you really don't concern yourself with?
I mean, I've been on top for a while now, and one thing I've learned is that you can't take what people say to you too seriously, whether it's really good stuff or really bad stuff. If you're enjoying the stuff that people are saying about you that is really good, you're gonna really focus on the stuff that they're saying bad about you too. So I just kind of take everything with a grain of salt and focus on myself. Focus on the important things.
What's it like for your kids who might see their father on television, he gets stopped in the street, and I mean, do they understand kind of your role and the fact that you are a very well-known personality now, and they're growing up with their father as someone very important to the outside world? Do they grasp that?
Yeah, they actually do. My daughter, she's in kindergarten, she definitely understands that. My son's 3, and he's more obsessed with me and my fighting career than anybody else. He thinks the American flag is my flag. So yeah, my kids understand it. It's pretty cool to see them, and they know why people are coming up to me. And their teachers are talking to them about me and what I do. So it's definitely a cool thing, and I got to be champion for a long time because that's what they know me as.
Final question, as we head into December the 12th, I mean, your 3-year-old son, does he have a prediction for how the fight goes at UFC 194? Has he broken down Luke Rockhold?
He said, Daddy, I'm going to throw him down and then pound him, pow him, which means I'm going to beat him.
Well,
so that's my prediction. I'll throw him down and then pow him.
Well, there you go. Chris Weidman's son predicting UFC 194 for us. It is coming up Saturday, December the 12th. One of the most loaded cards the UFC has ever put together. It's Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold for the middleweight championship. And Chris, I want to thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.